Check, check, 1, 2, radio check. Still on. On the bound through the corner, lane up through the trial zone. Check, go, go. Not sure why we did that. I don't know the plan. 88 was screaming everybody get to the bottom. Maybe we should just run all out and wait till after the fourth pit. Out of the gas, slow down. He's coming up right in front of me.
Here comes that number 15 of Cameron Combs. Combs trying to work his way. It's Kurt Sponsler. Sponsler will pick up stage ring. Mr. Garland and Garland leading the way. Show these drivers how to get it done.
Engines roar louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Outcast League, tearing up the blacktop terrain. Rubber burning speed, churning gasoline in their veins. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends, never out of sight. Lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends, never out of sight. Racetrack gladiators, helmets on tight. Every second matters, every turn ignites. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray. Louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this evening from the beautiful Chicagoland Speedway. As the Outcast Racing League playoffs get underway, drivers are ready to go to battle. Here this evening is Martin. What's good, brother? How are you, Martin? Martin coming in says hello and good afternoon. Good afternoon to yourself as well, Martin. How have you been, brother? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful weekend as these drivers get ready to duke it out here this evening, man, for what is going to be another absolutely amazing show. Some absolutely amazing racing here as the M&M Auto Parts Incorporated 300 here this evening for our first playoff race of the season. Going to be a ton of fun, man. Going to be a lot of great racing, a lot of great action here this evening. We can't wait to get these drivers into the battle. As qualifying underway right now, everyone is ready to rumble. As Martin says, good, and you? I am perfect, brother. I'm always good, always doing fine, especially when I get to jump in here, put on a show for all the fans in the stands, and enjoy some absolutely amazing racing action with you kind folks up in the comment section. As we get ready to set them loose, we get ready to go to battle here in this one. We do got a little bit of Outcast Racing League news to jump into.
Good evening, race fans. Today, the Outcast Racing League kicks off the playoffs at Chicagoland Raceway. Under the lights and under pressure, 16 of the league's best will battle through 300 miles on one of the fastest miles and a half in America. Positions, pride, and a shot at the championship are all on the line. Buckle up. This playoff grid is stacked. We've got the 76 Caleb McKinney, the 9 Tyler Humphrey, the 15 Cameron Combs, the 3 Al Reed, the 48 Grant Humphrey, the 20 Corey Crowell, the 7 Devin Black, the 77 Casey Gross, the 6 Robert Tuiscu, the 99 Chris Muise, the 70 Mike Killingbeck, the 12 Josh Bromfield, the 49 Kurt Sponsler, the 60 Johnny Thunders, the 81 Anthony Garland, and the 02 Chad Lancaster. 16 drivers begin their journey tonight, but every 2 weeks, 4 drivers will be eliminated until only 8 remain. And when the dust settles, the final 8 will battle for the ORL Championship at Daytona. Will your favorite driver make it? Check in with us next week to see who is at risk of being eliminated here at ORL News.
Alrighty, some good news updates there as our playoffs get underway. Those 16 drivers get ready to play here this evening as 125 laps on the board here for the amazing M&M Auto Parts Inc. 300 here this evening as each and every one of these drivers get ready to load into the sim. They're all looking for the win here this evening. And starting on the pole will be that 2 ride of Corey Crowell. Edward Belair will start there in second with the number 12 of Josh Bromfield starting in position number 3. Billy Jordan will start in 4th with the 15 of Cameron Combs back there in that 5th position. Grant Humphrey in the Must-Love Poodles Anaheim Ducks number 48 ride. Humphrey starts there in 6th with Devin Black, Casey Gross rounding out our 4th row. Back in the 5th row, it is the 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey and his Must-Love Poodles, and the M&M Auto Parts Inc. number 76 of Caleb McKinney rounding out our top 10. Chad Lancaster, Al Reed there in row number 6 with the 6 ride of Rob Tuiscu, Wayne Garland there in 13th and 14th. The 60 of Johnny Thunders, the 49 of Kurt Sponsler Jr., Nicholas Barton, James Garland, Chris Muise, Anthony Garland, Brandon Puffenbarger, rounding out our 21 car field here this evening. Now, Chris Muise will get a black flag here. He will, unfortunately, have to make a pass-through penalty and serve a 30-second hold down pit road. And I do believe for the 70 ride, should also get an EOL here this evening. Unfortunately, I don't think we have the 70 ride in attendance, so he'll have to serve that penalty in the next race. So all these drivers ready to rumble, ready to go to battle. Let's take a look here at our crew chief update here. So our crew chief breakdown here this evening is this beautiful racetrack. It is a mile-and-a-half speedway here. Obviously, location, you get the pit road speed, slow pit road speed, the stage breakdown here. Their fuel runs as well, anywhere from, I believe that is 28 to 30 laps there. 3 sets of tires, only 1 quick repair, so drivers will have to be on top of their A game as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here this evening from Chicagoland Speedway. The M&M Auto Parts Inc. 300 is underway. As this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a lot of great racing here this evening. As Martin says, are you guys going to be doing a dirt racing at the Dome? I'm not sure if I will be or not. I have no idea. I haven't had anything come across my inbox as of yet, but who knows as it gets closer and closer to beginning of December, mid-December, we'll probably get a few that may come up, so potentially maybe something in there. As Must Love Poodles says, go Must Love Poodles cars with the heart reaction here this evening, and the Poodles in there as well, as we do see the caution flag come out quickly here in this one. Unfortunately, there opening lap issues, a few drivers getting collected, and I do believe it may be a couple of our playoff competitors tied up here in this one, as I believe Kurt Sponsler Jr., you see Al Reed right there as well, so looks like maybe a little contact here. Looks like the 84 maybe getting in there a little too far. Right here, Al pushes up the track, 84 coming with a bit of speed, gets in there, gets into that left rear quarter panel of the Elite Sim Racing ride. That's going to get Al Reed sideways on the speedway. You see Wayne gets down into the 22 apart. Now here comes Kurt Sponsler, and I do believe you'll see that 81 of Anthony Garland also get in here as well. Can't get checked up quick enough. Checks the rear end fluid on the 49 run as he drives right down and underneath of him there, and unfortunately heavy damage there to the front end of the 81 machine, heavy rear end damage and front end damage for the 49, and a few tore up race cars early in this one, man. So a few of our drivers, few of our competitors here in the playoffs getting that early contact, that early damage, and that's really going to set them back here throughout this race. So they're going to have to be on their A game here for the second half. They're going to have to really make sure that they don't make any mistakes, that they don't put themselves into a bad position to potentially, set them back here, and maybe too far back, maybe in an area where they won't get an opportunity to continue battling for this championship, because that's going to be the key to success here, is just trying to survive, trying to make it through round after round after round, and trying to work yourself up and in to maybe a little bit better of a playoff position here, as the playoffs going to be really, really interesting here. We're going to have a two-race battle here at Chicagoland and Bristol next Sunday, where unfortunately after Bristol, I believe we will see 4 drivers be eliminated from the playoffs. So the bottom 4 drivers will be eliminated. Then we head to Kansas and Atlanta for the second round, where 4 more drivers will be eliminated again, and then that brings us to our Championship 8 at Daytona International Speedway on December 21st for our season finale, the Championship 8 drivers to duke it out. 200 laps, a full Daytona 500 feel, and for those drivers, it isn't the start of their season, it is the end of their season, and it comes up as a very, very big race for all 8 drivers. And Daytona, man, no better place to start the season, no better place to end the season as well here with the Outcast Racing League. All right, looks like we got them all settled in. Everyone's ready to go back to battle here, and it's going to be a pretty good one as we get a few laps in. Obviously, the first caution flag of the day and our first caution here in this stage, and now things are going to get a little bit more crazy here for all these drivers. They're going to have to try and find their groove, find their drive, and see if they can work themselves up to the front. For some of those drivers that had contact early on, had damage, they're going to have to try to rebound from that one. Obviously, we did see Kurt Sponsler Jr. get tied up in that, and for the 49 ride, he did unfortunately go a lap down. So for Kurt Sponsler Jr., he finds himself early on a lap down, and unfortunately not in a very, very good spot. But for right now, Corey Crowell in a great spot out in front, looking to take this Mars ride up and into victory lane here this evening as the 2 ride getting ready to rumble, getting ready to roll here in just a couple more seconds. Is down through the Geico restart zone. Let's try it again. Green flag back out into the air, and a great restart there for the 2 ride. Gets a great jump over that 25 ride of Edward Belair, pulls a couple car lengths away from that 12 ride of Josh Bromfield. Is Bromfield gonna look to try to slide up here in front of the 25 right, just clears Belair down and out at corner number 2. Belair will cross back down underneath of him, though. Unfortunately, did not get the run that he was hoping for, and for Edward Belair does slide back, at least for now, into that 3rd position, but has Cameron Combs all over him, is down and out of corner number 4, back down across the line. We get our first official green flag lap in here this evening. So Corey Crowell out in front, leading here early this evening, is Bromfield, Edward Belair, Cameron Combs, our top 4, and then I see a bit of a battle back here for that 5th position. Right now, the 7 right of Devin Black hangs on to it, but we do see a few more drivers right here into the mix. Here comes that 9 of Tyler Humphrey, Grant Humphrey right there, as well as the Anaheim Ducks number 48 ride rolling there in that 7th position. We love the Anaheim Ducks logo on the car. We love the bit of hockey feel here for the 48 ride. I mean, I'm a Flyers fan through and through, but I mean, we did have Cutter Gauthier. We traded him there for Drysdale and draft picks, and they got a pretty good player, man. I wish Cutter would have liked to stay with the Flyers. I mean, I like Drysdale, but man, Cutter is cutting it up here this year, and for the Anaheim Ducks, they're definitely loving that trade. As right now, we do see the 9 right after serving his penalty, having to come down pit road, starting that 32nd hole. Here comes the 99 of Chris Muise back out onto the racetrack. Unfortunately for Muise here, does look like he's going to go at least 2 laps down, and early on going 2 laps down normally isn't a bad thing, but with that number 49 ride already being 1 lap down here, Muise is going to need a lot of wave arounds, a lot of lucky breaks, a lot of things to go his way to potentially put him into a good position here to try to get back on the lead lap and back into the battle here this evening, as Corey Crowell out in front continues to run away with it. Belair back up into 2nd. So far, been probably one of his best starts through the season, as Edward Belair sitting here at the front of the field looking very, very good here today. Is Bromfield there in 3rd, and then we see Devin Black, Tyler Humphrey, our top 5, as Casey Gross moves up into 6th now. Cameron Combs slides back into 7th. Lancaster, Caleb McKinney there in 9th, and Grant Humphrey early on falling back 4 spots now into that 10th position, as Rob Tuiscu, James Garland, Al Reed, who we saw get tied up in that first caution flag, there in 13th. Billy Jordan in 14th here, battling with the lap down number 49 ride of Kurt Sponsler. The 5 ride of Brandon Puffenbarger, he's rolling right there. He's sitting in position number 15 with Johnny Thunders, Wayne Garland, Anthony Garland, Nicholas Barton, Kurt Sponsler, and Chris Muise rounding out our 21-car field here this evening. As Corey Crowell, though, continues to lead the way. Corey's out in front, has this top spot. He's looking really, really good here this evening, and early on, knowing that he just wants to try to make it to that stage break, wants to try to win this stage if he can give himself the stage win here this evening, and some extra bonus points into his back pocket that could really help him out and really drive him into potentially making it into the next round of these playoffs. And with the win, I do believe you're automatically in. So for the 2 right, looking strong here early on. For the rest of our playoff drivers, knowing that Corey Crowell could potentially have the car to beat here this evening, they're going to have to try to find a little something to try to put themselves into a position to get into the battle here in this evening. As out in front, Crowell will lead lap number 12. Belair still in tow, though. Bromfield right there in 3rd, and we see some drivers continue to work their way towards the front here. Tyler Humphrey now sits in that 4th position, up 5 spots here on the Speedway. Lancaster up 4 spots early on in that Land NC NSB 02 ride. Rob Tuiscu up 4 spots as well, sits in that 6th position. So a lot of these drivers trying to work their way a little closer to the front of the pack here. They're going to need some extra help, maybe a few more caution flags to draw them a little closer here. But with this long green flag run, it starts to bring in the question mark here for a lot of these cats. What can you do? What do you want to do here throughout this race? Because you can try to play the strategy card. You can try to save some tires. You can try to put yourself into a bit of a different position here later in the game. But for right now, a lot of these drivers, they're just on the throttle. There's not a whole lot of drivers hanging back or holding back, and the tire wear already starting to take effect. We're inching closer and closer to about 3/4 a second off the pace, almost a second off the pace for certain drivers. So tire wear will be a factor here in with these drivers, knowing that they only got 3 sets of tires back there behind pit wall. You make it, 30 laps, you throw a set on, you make it another 30 laps, you throw, maybe another set on there at lap number 60. That puts you halfway through the race, and you only have 1 set of tires left to go. So you kind of got to either split it up or make a strategy call of trying to run maybe that second stage without that extra set of tires. But if you don't use that extra set of tires, how far do you fall back? Do you risk potentially losing a lap here, or do you just play it safe throughout these stages? You look back at Cameron Combs, who's down 7 positions early in this race. Is he one of those drivers that maybe wants to try and just run the same set of tires since the drop of the green flag to that halfway marker towards the end of stage number 2, and just trying to take it easy here on his equipment, take it easy on these tires here throughout this run, knowing that he wants to give himself an opportunity, later on to potentially have that extra set of tires in his back pocket here in this one. So we'll have to wait and see, as we do see Corey Crowell continuing to lead the way out in front, having himself a heck of a start here this evening, as Anne-Marie coming in showing the love says, "Go James!" Kevin Timmy, what's good, Kev? Kevin Timmy coming in showing the love as well, says, let's go, Kev. How are you, brother? Kev coming in showing the love, as Martin says, Crowell is pretty good. He is pretty good, pretty solid, and so far showing these drivers that, he's pretty strong here this evening, at least at Chicagoland Speedway. He's looking pretty dang good here this evening. Edward Belair there in second, Josh Bromfield in third, with Tyler Humphrey, Devin Black, our top 5 here. Casey Gross and Caleb McKinney in that M&M Auto Parts Inc. Number 76 now works his way up and into that 7th position. Lancaster slides back a couple spots here, didn't move up early on, but now back into that 8th position has Rom Tuisku and Grant Humphrey right there with him. Now, Grant Humphrey, another one of those drivers, him and Cameron Combs really seem to be a little bit less off the pace. They're hanging with these guys, but it seems like they are really trying to save their tires here and really trying to take care of their equipment late in this race. So we'll have to wait and see, what the game plan may be for a couple of these guys, man. What is going to be the call? Who is going to make the decisions here to, make some of these different strategy moves? And for right now, we do see Kurt Sponsler in that 49 ride, still the first car 1 lap down out there on the racetrack. Right now, sitting in a half-decent spot, not really in a bad position, but knowing that, he really just wants to try and put himself into position here to get that lucky dog. Unfortunately, it may go away. We do see some damage still on the front end of the 22 ride of Nicholas Barton. Barton is about 26 seconds behind our race leader, which is half that back straightaway, and there is still about 9 laps left to go here in this stage. So I think if you're the 49 of Kurt Sponsler or the 99 of Chris Muise, you gotta know that, man, this 22 car is probably about to go a lap down, and if he does lose a lap, that will put him into the lucky dog position, and it will take, unfortunately, Kurt Sponsler out of that lucky dog spot. Sponsler will have to hope that he can catch up to the 22 ride and pass him before that caution flag comes out for the end of this stage. As, man, some great games here in the NFL this evening as well. Looks like heading to overtime for the New York Giants and Detroit Lions, and also going to overtime is the Indianapolis Colts and Kansas City Chiefs. So couple OTs here in the early window of the NFL here this evening, as Corey Crowell continues to lead the way. Edward Belair there in second. Tyler Humphrey up and into third here as Bromfield slides back into that 4th position. Caleb McKinney still trying to work his way up a little closer to the front of the field here. Casey Gross right there in 7th. And now the big question mark will be for a lot of these drivers, as much as you want to save tires and try to, give yourself maybe an extra set a little later in the game, maybe it comes down to, just trying to earn some stage points. Stage points may be a little bit more valuable than potentially just trying to have that extra set of tires late in this race, especially if we see a lot of green flag laps being laid down. It could really open up that window that you may not be able to use that extra set of tires, as Crowell does unfortunately lap the 22 and Nicholas Barton. Barton does fall a lap down now. He is in the lucky dog position, and I do believe with only about 6 laps left to go here in this first stage, I don't think our race leaders are catching up to Anthony Garland or any of these other drivers to put anyone else a lap down. So for Nicholas Barton, he's just got to try and keep himself in this lucky dog spot. Unfortunately, he's losing a ton of time to this 49 of Kurt Sponsler. Sponsler will be looking to try to work his way up and into position number 19 and into that lucky dog spot here this evening, as Nicholas Barton, Kurt Sponsler, they're going to battle here, I think, for that lucky dog position late in this stage, as Crowell out in front. It's just been a man on a mission right from the get-go. This number 2 Machine Man has looked very, very strong, and here he is rolling out in front, just looking to capture this win, looking to capture this stage win here this evening, putting some extra points into his back pocket, plus some extra bonus points also to go along here with his good season so far. So for that number 2 ride, man, just looking really, really good here this evening, man, and it's going to be fun to see what a lot of these drivers are going to be able to do throughout this run, throughout the rest of the evening, and who's going to be able to try to make the changes to make their car that much better later in this race, as it could be pretty crazy here for a lot of these cats. But for right now, it is all Corey Crowell. As Kevin Timmy says, been a while since I've caught an ORL race. Timmy, I know, brother, it's been a little bit. Super happy, super glad to see you over here. Obviously, we haven't been doing many streams over on Twitch. We've been doing YouTube only here for the last little while, kind of just going with the YouTube flow, higher quality, broadcasts and everything else to bring everyone all the amazing racing action here. So hopefully everyone's enjoying all the amazing racing here on YouTube. Obviously the higher quality and maybe better audio and everything else here. So hopefully you guys are enjoying all of that action, as all the action out there on the speedway brings us to our final laps here of stage number 1. As in front, Corey Crowell continues to lead the way. Crowell will lead us back down the back straightaway, nice and easy into 3. He'll just roll that line down through the middle of 3 and 4 and out of 4, back down across the line. He will complete lap number 29. So we get one more lap here in stage number 1 this evening. The K West Group number 2 machine looking for the stage win. Edward Belair in the MMG ride in tow, and Tyler Humphrey in the Must Love Poodles number 9 right there with them, trying to hunt down that number 25 ride. But he's going to run out of time in a quick hurry. Is nice and easy down and out of 3 and 4. It's Corey Crowell back down across the line, and Crowell will win stage number 1 here this evening. So Corey Crowell with the stage win. Tyler Humphrey will come home in position number 3, I do believe, here this evening. Edward Belair will be in 2nd. Tyler Humphrey there in 3rd. Josh Bromfield, Devin Black, our top 5 here in the stage, as Casey Gross, Rob Tuisku, Cameron Combs, Brandon Puffenbarger, who started deep in the field there in 9th, and Caleb McKinney rounding out our top 10 here in this stage. So for Corey Crowell, though, winning the stage, earning those points, putting them into his back pocket here for this 2 ride. He'll be looking to try and keep himself out in front as caution flag pit stops about to get underway, and that's where things can get very, very fun in a quick hurry. As pit stops, strategy, everything about to come to it here in this one, and that could make for a lot of very interesting action here this evening, as the strategy calls are going to be tough for these drivers, man. You really like tires. You really want tires at a speedway like Chicagoland. But with only 3 sets back there behind pit wall, you don't really have a whole bunch of options. You kind of got to just take it easy and give yourself an opportunity to, maybe give yourself that extra set later on. I don't know. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough here. But for the M&M Auto Parts 300 here this evening as Corey Crowell, who wins that first stage, he'll get ready to lead us down pit side. And here we go. It's game time. It's decision time. And for these drivers, it's going to be a tough decision what you're going to do. But here they come, all these drivers down pit road. Who is going to make the call first? Who's going to make the strategy call to try and put themselves into a winning position here in this one, as Corey Crowell will come all the way down into his pit stall. He'll be the farthest pit stall, obviously winning that pole position. Gets pit stall number 1, which should give him an extra break here. But you look back at drivers like the 15. Okay, so Cameron Combs putting tires on. There's the 48. He's gotten tires. Looks like Tyler Humphrey maybe not putting tires on here for the Must Love Poodles ride. He's going to be the first one that we're going to see really not go with that strategy. So it looks like Tyler Humphrey going to play the game plan out of no tires. Gets fuel only. He's able to win that race off of pit road. So for Tyler Humphrey, big strategy call here in this one. And that is going to make things very, very interesting here this evening, because that's going to really bust things open, because it looked like everybody else had taken 4 tires there. No one else went with a no tire or 2 tire pit stop, and that could really either help the 9 ride out in the long run or really hurt him here in the long run, as we did see James Garland also stay out here as well, but he will now head down pit side. So he stayed out, led a lap. Now he looks to roll back down pit road here, make his pit stop, so he will be going deep in the field. And unfortunately for James Garland, things may have gotten a little bit worse there for him, as he does receive a black flag there on the entry to pit road. So for the 37 machine, may have a penalty down pit side as well. And for the Pool Boy machine, definitely not what you want to try to make that strategy here this evening. But we'll have to wait and see how this kind of gets played out here today, as Corey Crowell, Tyler Humphrey, 1 and 2 here on the Speedway. Humphrey's got the top spot. Humphrey will get ready to be set loose here in this one. What is Humphrey going to be able to do, man? The old tires, the new tires. I feel like he's going to be a bit of a sitting duck here. He's going to have to try to roll this next 26 laps, hoping for maybe a caution flag or 2, or hoping that he has enough left in the tank to just try to keep himself on the lead lap, not to fall a lap down here today. We did see also, I do believe 49 rider Kurt Sponsler was able to get around Nicholas Barton and get the lucky dog position here in that first stage as well. Barton now falls 1 lap down here still, and unfortunately not in the lucky dog spot, so he stays a lap down. And it's going to be interesting here late in this race. Who's going to be able to make some calls? Who's going to be able to make some moves to try and put themselves into the winner's circle? As here we go. Restart once again. Is down through the Geico restart zone. Great launch right there for that 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey. Humphrey gets a good launch, a good drive. And for that 9 ride, he looks to try and open up a bit of a gap here, as we do see the 25. And oh, look out. Was that the 77 ride of Casey Gross? Oh, Casey was really sideways there at a corner number 2. Let's back this one up, as that Quantum Motorsports 77 ride almost goes around, almost brings out another caution flag here in this race right there. What a save from that number 77, able to keep himself in this one. So heck of a move there for him. But here we go, fresh tires compared to old tires. The 9 ride of Humphrey trying to hang on to it, trying to keep himself out in front, but there goes our new race leader, Edward Belair. Belair jumps out in front, now has the race lead. What will he be able to do? Will he be able to put himself into a good position here late in the race and potentially steal away a win from all of our other drivers here this evening? Corey Crowell going to be back in tow, trying to hunt him back down, looking to try to put himself back to the front of the field here this evening. Humphrey falls back to 3rd. Here comes Devin Black. Here comes Josh Bromfield. Cameron Combs there in 6th. We do see Al Reed up and into 7th here. So for the Elite Sim Racing rides, they currently sit 6th, 7th, and 8th out there on the racetrack. They're hoping for their other teammate, Kurt Sponsler, to try to jump up there and join them here towards the front of the field. But for the number 25 ride, Edward Belair going to lead another lap for the 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey. As we said, the strategy call, trying to keep that extra set of tires in his back pocket, is going to make things very, very tough here for that number 9 ride and what he's going to be able to do and how he's going to have to try and just hang on here. He's going to give up stage points. He's going to fall deeper in the field, but right now it's looking like it's a great strategy. Looks like he may be able to hang on and keep some good tires under his belt here for later in this race and potentially put him into a good position here in the closing half of this one. So we'll have to wait and see, because he's hanging on pretty solidly right there in that 4th position. I thought we were going to see him fall back quite a bit more, but he has not. He's sticking right there with them. As Edward Belair, Corey Crowell, 1 and 2, Blacks up into 3rd. Bromfield trying to chase down that Must-Love Poodles ride. Combs, Al Reed, Rom Tuisku, our top 8. Grant Humphrey back in position number 9. And the driver that we saw almost go around there was this 77 machine of Casey Gross. Casey rolling there in that 10th position. Wayne Garland back there in 11th. Anthony Garland there in 12th. Chad Lancaster back in 13th. With Johnny Thunders, James Garland, our top 15. Kurt Sponsler's back in that 16th position. Caleb McKinney's all the way back here, as well as Billy Jordan. Brandon Puffenbarger back there in 19th. Lascar on the lead lap. Nicholas Barton in that 20th position. And Chris Muise back down pit road here. So I do believe Muise took a wave around there to get a lap back, to put himself 1 lap down, but then had to come back down pit road anyways, needed fuel, and unfortunately there for the 99 ride, he's going to fall 2 laps down again anyway. So that's a tough break right there for him, and now he's going to have to hope that he can keep himself at least still 2 laps down. Does not want to fall any farther back here in this race, so we'll have to keep an eye on that number 99 ride and his chances here this evening. Unfortunately, he's going to be probably the only one having to make a green flag pit stop here throughout this 2nd stage, as he was really the only one that was on that strategy or didn't come down pit road right there. So that's probably going to hurt him more than it's going to help him. And with the 22 ride of Nicholas Barton still a lap down, not a lot of caution flags flying. Barton's in line to get that free pass. The lucky dog once again here this evening if they hit the stage break here. So for Nicholas Barton, he's in a good spot. He's got the car fixed up. He's kind of back into the battle here, and if he can stay 1 lap down and in this lucky dog position, could work himself right back into the battle here today. So that's going to be a lot of fun to see how that gets played out. But for Corey Crowell, continuing to lead this race, Edward Belair there in 2nd. As Crowell was able to take that race lead back away. He's looking good. He's feeling fine here in this one. And for Corey Crowell, he's looking to set sail once again, wanting to win stage 1 and 2, looking to sweep these stages. We'll have to wait and see if he can get it, because there's still about 16 laps left to go here in this stage. So still about 16 laps left in the stage here this evening. For Corey Crowell, man, he is feeling absolutely A-okay here this evening, man. He has looked very strong here in this one. So isn't Edward Belair. Devin Black's been right up there inside the top 3, top 5 for a lot of this race. So isn't Josh Bromfield. So there's a lot of drivers here that are in our playoffs that are looking very strong here in the first half of this feature event. Cameron Combs back up into 5th here is Al Reed. Rom Tuisku right there behind him. Grant Humphrey up into 8th is Casey Gross, and now Tyler Humphrey sits there in that 10th position. Unfortunately there for Humphrey, we knew he was going to slide backwards here. He has the older tires. He's going to continue to kind of fall back in for the 9 ride, giving up maybe a little bit of stage points, trying to help himself out here in this one. Tyler Humphrey just looking to hang on here. Falls outside the top 10 as Anthony Garland does get around him and puts himself into the top 10 for Anthony, man. Great run going for that Poor Boy Motorsports ride. He now sits in that 10th position. But for Corey Crowell, man, this car has just been on fire, man. This thing has looked really strong all evening long. It's going to be tough. Unless if somebody's holding back here, if somebody's holding out, maybe trying to play a little bit of strategy, maybe not trying to show their hand early on. I think it's going to be a tough race for almost anybody to hunt down this 2 run, especially if we stay on a long green flag run. If we don't see a lot of caution flags and see the strategy really come into play here throughout this race, I think it's really going to look like the 2 ride of Corey Crowell could run away with this race, so we'll have to keep a close eye there on that two machine. Belair back in second, still trying to track him down here. As, man, some great performances here. We saw that early caution flag on lap number 1. Since then, it's been pretty good here, man. These guys have been putting on a show for us. A couple drivers went for a couple slip and slides out there on the speedway, but other than that, they've just looked very, very stout out there on the speedway, and they're just continuing to click these laps off in a quick hurry. As Devin Black there in third. Here comes Cameron Combs working to the outside now of that 12 ride of Bromfield. So great run right there for Bromfield, but it is the 15 looking to be aggressive here in the second stage. Jumps to the middle lane, looking to make the move here around Bromfield and the 7 of Devin Black, and trying to put himself up inside the top 3 and down through 3 and 4. He will complete both those passes, and for that number 15, Cameron Combs now sits into the third position here. Bromfield trying to hang on to fourth. He's got Devin Black down to his inside. You see Rob Duiscu, Casey Gross, Al Reed all right there in that mix. Great rebound here for Casey Gross after, unfortunately, he kind of fell back there after sliding out of corner number 2 on that restart. The 77 right back into the battle, right back into the mix, and as they continue to battle door to door here, you do see that 81 Anthony Garland starting to roll up into this battle. You see the 48 and the 9 right of Tyler Humphrey there, as well as the Humphrey twins trying to race their way up and into that battle and in through the top 10 here. And again for Tyler Humphrey, man, great strategy call. No tires on that pit stop. Everyone else used one of their 3 sets down pit side. And for the 9 right of Tyler Humphrey, he currently sits in a pretty solid position. Sits in 11th. No stage points on the line there for that number 9 ride. But, man, he is looking good here this evening, and he's hoping to try to make some big moves here in this one, as he'll be trying to race his way up and towards the front of the field later on with some fresher tires potentially than a lot of these other drivers. But for Corey Crowell, only 8 laps next time by the start finish line. 8 laps left to go here in stage number 2 for Corey Crowell in the M&M Auto Parts 300 here this evening, as Crowell continues to lead the way. Belair and Combs in tow. Combs, unfortunately, is about 2.6 seconds back of Corey Crowell, so he's either going to have to really try to step up that game, really try to track down our top 2 that have seemingly left the rest of the field here kind of back in their dust. For Corey Crowell, he's got about 7/8 of a second between himself and that 25 ride, so it'll be interesting to see if Edward Belair can just continue on this pace, man. Qualified in second. He's looked really, really strong here throughout this race, and he's looking to try and maybe be there towards the end to maybe slide his way into victory lane. What a run that would be for Edward Belair and the MMG Detroit Lions ride. And good news there for Edward Belair is that the Detroit Lions, they went to overtime versus the New York Giants earlier here this evening, and just moments ago in overtime, Detroit able to get a big touchdown run by Jahmyr Gibbs. Ended up winning that football game in overtime after Jameson Winston and the New York Giants tried to storm down the field. Unfortunately, couldn't quite complete the comeback, and going forward on 4th and 10, needing that touchdown inside, I do believe, the red zone of the Detroit side of the field. Could not complete on 4th and 10. Jameson got sacked, went down, and Detroit Lions won that football game in overtime. And I do believe for the Kansas City Chiefs, they are sitting in position right now in overtime as well to potentially kick a field goal and win their game to move to 6-5 here on the season. A big win over the 8-2 Indianapolis Colts here. If Harrison Bunker, I do believe, can make this kick for the Kansas City Chiefs. As Corey Crowell out in front, he's looking for a dub here this evening, trying to put that 2 right into victory lane as Edward Belair, Cameron Combs are top 3. Bromfield and Tuwiscu now inside the top 5 as Devin Black falls back to 6. Al Reed sits in 7th. Casey Gross gets settled back in to about that 8th position, but he does have Anthony Garland and Grant Humphrey right there with him, and Grant Humphrey looking to try to make some moves here, looking for some extra drive, and there it is. Kick is up for Harrison Bunker, and Bunker hits it. 3 point lead now for Kansas City, and with them being the only team that get points in the overtime, it is the Kansas City Chiefs who come away with the win versus Indianapolis here this evening. Heck of a game right there. A couple of amazing overtime battles here this evening, and we hopefully don't have to see any overtime here this evening, but that is always a possibility. Overtime, always an opportunity here for a lot of these drivers to potentially, only 20 drivers in the race, or is the ticker stuck? There's 21, Kev. There's 21 drivers. Chris Muise is back in 21st, currently sits about 3 laps down, 2 laps down, 3 laps down, something like that, out there on the speedway right now. But Muise is back in that 21st position. With the only one driver on the outside, it's not going to flip too many times because it's only going to show one name if it kind of flips through that bottom 10 to the bottom 20 to 30. Obviously, there's only one name there, so we're not too worried about it. We know that it is Chris Muise, who unfortunately sits back in that 21st position right now. But for Corey Crowell, he is out in front, continuing to lead the way, showing these drivers how to get it done here in this one. Is what's good, Rodney? Rodney coming in, showing the love. What's good, brother, says Peacemaker, my boy. What's good, Rod Stewart? How are you, brother? How you doing this evening? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day here this evening. As Martin Long says, my pick is Crowell. I mean, Crowell is a solid pick, brother. Crowell is definitely a solid driver to want to choose. And now, down and out of corner number 4, across the line, he will sweep the stages here in race number 1 of our playoffs in the M&M Auto Parts Inc. 300. It's Corey Crowell who's able to win both stages here this evening. A man on a mission here this evening in our first playoff race of the season. Edward Belair will come home in 2nd. Cameron Combs there in 3rd. Josh Bromfield in 4th with Rob Tuiscu rounding out our top 5. Casey Gross will come home in 6th with Devin Black. Grant Humphrey, Al Reed, and Anthony Garland our top 10 there on the stage. Tyler Humphrey did keep himself on the lead lap just outside of stage points here as Humphrey comes home in 11th there, but the only driver on 60 lap old tires here on the speedway. So he is definitely behind the ball there in that stage, obviously not earning any stage points, but that does give him an extra set of tires back behind pit wall for late in this race. And I think for a lot of these drivers, seeing this race continue to go green flag here, continue to stay green flag racing, I don't think there's going to be a lot of them that are going to want to try and play some different strategy here or try to do anything different. I think they're all coming back down pit road. I think they're all probably going to throw 4 tires on here, knowing that if this race continues on this trend of staying clean and green, then they could just see this, being a 60 lap run to the end of the race. Everyone's coming down pit road here on lap number 62, so virtually they're going to have to run a 63-lap run to the end with potential of caution flags, but with the potential of no caution flags, they really just need to make it, somewhere around that, probably lap 31, lap 32 area, try to save a little bit, give themselves that extra little bait, and only having to make one more pit stop here throughout that final green flag run. But if that does burn up all their tires, it's going to put them into a difficult position very, very late in this race. But you do see everyone getting jacked up. Everyone is throwing on 4 tires here this evening, so no one's going to go with a 2-tire stop. No one's going with no tires here like that 9 ride of Humphrey. So this is going to be a pretty interesting later on in this race. If there is a caution flag, maybe after 20-25 laps here of this final stage, it may force the hand for a lot of these drivers to come down pit road and to potentially use their final set of tires back behind pit wall. If not, then it's going to get very interesting here in a quick hurry. A lot of these other cats to have to try to save a set of tires, and late in the race, trying to save those tires is a lot tougher than doing it early on. So we'll have to wait and see who's going to be able to make the plays, who's going to be able to make the calls, and try to put themselves into a solid position. or potentially the win here this evening. As of right now, it is Corey Crowell who holds on to the race lead. You do see Chris Muise there. He is hoping to get the wave around once again. Looks like he will get the wave, so he will get at least a lap back here again. Same strategy we saw out of the 99 ride in that first stage as well. So he stays out. We're going to see if the 99 can catch a quick caution flag, get some tires, get some fuel, maybe get the wave around the Lucky Dog back on a lead lap. But for right now, I do believe for a bunch of these drivers, there goes Nicholas Barton. Barton will get the free pass. The Lucky Dog back on the lead lap. I do believe Johnny Thunders had also lost a lap here. So Johnny Thunders falls a lap down in the 60 ride. Tough break there for him. Caleb McKinney back down pit road for the M&M Auto Parts Inc. number 76, making an additional pit stop here as well. He comes back down pit side. So some more pit stops for a few of these drivers, and they're going to have to be very, very careful. And for the 76, he's going to have to pick up the pace here if he wants to try and keep himself in this battle. Our race leaders are heading down in through corner 3 and about to exit 4. He's got to get to the rear of the pack here in a quick hurry. Doesn't want to give up anything extra in this race, and right now, that's what it's looking like. As there he is, he's able to just roll up to them, get lined up, and ready to rumble here once again. It's, oh, baby, here we go. Green flag back out into the air for Corey Crowell. Crowell with another big restart in the 2 ride as that race lead as our final stage of the day is underway. It will be 61 laps of potential green flag racing action here to that checkered flag. As here comes Edward Belair, quickly looking down to the inside, looking to make some moves, hoping to try to put himself into a good position in this race as he comes steamrolling out of corner number 4. Trying to make that move on Cameron Combs. Unfortunately, couldn't quite get there. Combs will hold on to second. He'll look to continue to try to go after that 2 ride of Corey Crowell as Crowell out in front, continuing to lead this race. So far in this one, has led the most laps, has won both stages, qualified on the pole. He is going to be a tough driver to beat here this evening, and it could come all down to strategy. It could come down to some late race caution flags, so we'll have to wait and see what Corey Crowell is able to do. As Cameron Combs right there in second. Last time around, though, for Corey Crowell, laid down not only his quickest lap of this race, but the quickest lap of this race. The fastest lap anyone has laid down here this evening was the last time by for that 2 rider Corey Crowell. Cameron Combs also laid down his quickest lap of the race as well, and so did Tyler Humphrey, Grant Humphrey as well. Does Tyler or Grant Humphrey, do the twins have anything here in this one? Can they find some holes? Can they race their way up and into the battle here for the win this evening? We know they're always a threat here whenever it comes to a good battle here and some good green flag laps. So for a lot of these drivers, a lot of different strategy calls, a lot of different things going on here as we do see one driver up and into the outside fence here. I do believe it was the 81 ride of Anthony Garland got into the outside fence there in corner number 1 and 2. Unfortunately, falls back a few spots here. Now sits into that 16th position. As we continue to watch these guys, there's a little bit of 2 wide, some 3 wide racing. They are not backing down. They are not giving an inch out there on the speedway. And for Chris Muise, unfortunately for the 99 ride, no quick caution flag here is going to put him into a tough position. He may have to make his way down pit side, may have to make another pit stop here in this race. So for Johnny Thunders and for Chris Muise, it's going to be a tough call here, as he's going to be getting very, very close on fuel. He may have to take this 99 ride down pit side here in a quick hurry to try to put himself, or keep himself at least 2 laps down here in this one. He cannot run out of fuel. That may cost you even more time or more laps, and he's just hoping to get a caution flag. As here comes James Garland. James Garland making an unscheduled pit stop here as well. The 37 ride shoots down pit side here. Green flag pit stop for the 37 machine. I'm not sure what's gone wrong for that pool boy ride, but he comes down pit road. Quick stop, maybe just getting fuel into the car, maybe trying to play out some strategy, knowing that everyone else maybe will be a little bit shy on fuel, may have to make an additional pit stop very late in this race. So for the number 37, maybe making that earlier pit stop a little early on, and now here we go. He comes down pit road, going to put him into a tough position, but A good strategy call potentially for that number 37 Ryan. Here comes the 99 rider, Chris Muise. Muise can't wait any longer. Has to shoot back down pit road. Unfortunately, did not get that quick caution flag. Could not put himself into a position to be in that lucky dog spot. And for the 99 ride, has to make another green flag pit stop. This is all stemmed from that earlier pit stop, having to make that early race, pit stop in penalty down pit road for the 99 ride. That 30-second hold puts him into a very, very difficult position. And for Muise, looks like he's going to be down there. He is going to lose that lap once again, may even put himself into a position to fall more laps down here if he's not out of the pits in a quick hurry. He is still down pit side. He's just getting this thing serviced. He's still down pit road. Unfortunately, looks like he's not going to roll out there. Looks like he's actually going to tow that car off the racetrack and out of this race. So Chris Muise looks to be done and out here in this one. Chris Muise, unfortunately, looks like he is going to call it a day. That is a heartbreaker there for Chris Muise, as it looks like an early exit here for the 99 ride and to start his playoffs here this season. Not the way he wanted things to kind of get underway here in this one. As Corey Crowell, Cameron Combs still sit 1 and 2 here on the Speedway. It is still a great battle here between them because Cameron Combs not letting him really run away with it, trying to stick right there with him. Edward Belair, about a second back of our race leader as well, sits in position number 3 with Tyler Humphrey, Casey Gross, our top 5. Rob Tuwisku back in position number 6 with Grant Humphrey, Al Reed, Josh Bromfield, Kurt Sponsler, our top 10. Great rebound here for Kurt Sponsler. Win a lap down early on after the unfortunate contact on our opening lap for the 49 ride. He's right here in the battle, as now we do see the 5 rider, Brandon Puffenbarger, getting really loose there out of core number 4. Luckily enough, able to hang on to it. Here comes Caleb McKinney trying to race his way up towards the front of the field here. So for the M&M Auto Parts, number 76 rider, Caleb McKinney, definitely not the spot that I think he wanted to be in here this evening, as he sits back a little deeper in the field. Didn't really earn any stage points here in the 76 ride, and that's definitely going to put him into a tough spot here late in this race as he now navigates his way into 11th, makes the move around Devin Black. But for Corey Crowell, continuing to lead the way. Combs, Belair, Tyler Humphrey into 4th. Casey Gross round to our top 5. Rob Tuwisku there in 6th with Grant Humphrey and Al Reed rounding out our top 8. Josh Bromfield, Kurt Sponsler, the top 10. Caleb McKinney, Devin Black, Brandon Puffenbarger, Wayne Garland and Anthony Garland rounding out our top 15 here this evening. And we are going to see Chad Lancaster back in 16th, Billy Jordan there in 17th, Nicholas Barton rounding out our top 18 here this evening, and he's the last driver on the lead lap. Johnny Thunder's first car 1 lap down. James Garland also finds himself a lap or 2 laps down now on the Speedway, and for Chris Muise, down and out of this race after 70 laps of racing action there for the 99 ride. Obviously knew the bet he had made was unfortunately a tough one there, having to serve that early race penalty and finding himself here obviously back behind the 8 ball early on, not catching any lucky breaks with the unfortunate issues there for the 49 rider. Sponsor going to lap down. The lucky dog at the first stage goes to the 49, and then the lucky dog in the end of the second stage goes to the 22 rider, Nicholas Barton. Muise taking the wave arounds both times, hoping for early caution flags, never got one, and unfortunately had to make those green flag pit stops and falling a couple laps down both times and just never getting himself back on lead lap or into a position to really get the lucky dog or to get himself back into the battle. So tough day here at the Speedway for Chris Muise. But for Corey Crowell, it's been easy cruising here at the front of the field, as Ronnie Stewart says this morning, church and now on my way to work. Brother, enjoy your afternoon at work, man. Unfortunate that you gotta go to work on this fine Sunday, but I mean, you know, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, as Adam Humphrey says, let's go Humphrey boys, cheering on the Humphrey boys here this evening. Definitely some crazy action, some crazy strategy, and for a lot of these drivers, putting on an absolutely master class of a race for us here this evening at Chicagoland Speedway. As 80 laps through this race, I do believe we've only seen 3 caution flags? There was that early caution flag there in stage number 1 on the opening lap, and then our 2-stage breaks. Other than that, no caution flags for issues out there on the speedway. And for Play for Cheat says, let's go Cameron. Cheered on Cameron Combs here this evening. Well, Combs is right there, man, rolling in that second position, sticking to the back bumper of our race leader Corey Crowell, not letting Crowell run away with it. And Combs trying to run some different lines, some different drives here, and trying to see if he can maybe jump up and steal this race lead away from Corey Crowell. I do believe no one's actually been able to pass this 2-ride during the green flag conditions here this evening. He lost a few spots down pit side, and due to strategy there in the first wave of pit stops during that first stage break for the 2-ride, he had fallen back into about that 3rd position, though. He was able to battle back quickly to the front of the field, winning stage 1 and winning stage 2. He was able to start here in the top spot in the start of this final stage. He's been out in front for now, I want to say, probably 80 laps, probably 75 laps throughout this race. And for the 2-ride, he has just been the reflection of perfection in the car to beat here all evening long, but obviously feeling some pressure here with Combs right there on his back bumper. Edward Belair only 0.8 of a second back. You got to look back almost 0.9 of a second to our 4th place driver, Tyler Humphrey, who's hanging right there with him. He's still in the picture, but quite a little bit of ways away here. So isn't Casey Gross and Rob Tuwisku. Grant Humphrey trying to race his way up and into that 6th position as the Anaheim Ducks must love poodles. Number 48 trying to battle here. This is a battle for 6th and 7th out there on the racetrack. Al Reed trying to hang on to position number 8. Josh Bromfield trying to take it away from him, and here comes Caleb McKinney. We saw McKinney unfortunately fall back early in this race, but for McKinney, he rolls right there in the battle here, man, and he's up inside the top 10. We'll have to wait and see what he can do later on in this one, because, man, this 76 car, maybe he's got a little something left in the tank. Maybe the 5-ride of Brandon Puffenbarger, maybe some strategy, maybe some late race caution flags brings them right into the battle and into the picture here, trying to make some moves and trying to put themselves up and into the winner's circle here this evening. But if we stay clean and green and we don't see any caution flags, then things could get very, very tough here for the 5-ride and the 76 to try to make up that ground, to try to put themselves into a battle up towards the front of the field. We'll have to keep a close eye on that one as in front, Corey Crowell continue to lead the way. And I think we're getting really close to where we're going to start to see these drivers having to come back down pit road. Our crew chief report earlier on this evening talked about how these drivers could really only make it about 28 to about 20, I want to say 28 to 30 laps here on a tank of fuel. So maybe potentially, you know, they can stretch it out a little bit farther. If they can really save some fuel, maybe they can make it towards that 32 laps here on this tank of fuel, which would put pretty much everybody down pit road somewhere around lap number 92 to somewhere around lap number 94 here in this race. And that is still going to make them have a 30 plus lap run to finish off this race, as well as here comes Cameron Combs looking to make some more moves, looking to make some drives here up and into the battle at the front of the field, and trying to take this race lead away from Cameron Combs late in this stage. So this is going to be really, really interesting, because for a lot of these drivers, Corey Crowell, Cameron Combs, if they can put themselves into a position, if they can put themselves into a spot to be able to make some moves and potentially, have some good pit stops, they can run away with this race. But if they have a penalty down pit side, green flag pit stops are sometimes the Achilles heel of a lot of these drivers. And unfortunately, with green flag pit stops hanging over their heads here in just a few more laps, we could definitely see a lot of these cats potentially having mistakes down pit side, and that could be game over. That could be day over for a lot of these drivers. So you gotta be cautious. You gotta be nice and easy. You can't get caught speeding. You can't slide through your pit stall. You can't make any unfortunate mistakes down pit road here with 90 laps now completed. There's 35 laps left to go here in this race. 35 laps left to go, and for these drivers, they are right there. They are right on the edge here of probably having to try and make their green flag pit stops here. The first wave of green flag pit stops on the day. And for a lot of these drivers, you're going to be looking at the cats that are maybe trying to save a little bit of fuel. You look back at Al Reed potentially, maybe Devin Black. Are they trying to save enough fuel to try to stretch this out to be able to make it here on this one stop? Or will there be other drivers here? You look back at maybe Anthony Garland, maybe Chad Lancaster. Some of these other drivers that are running in that 31-second bracket compared to running in the 30.2, 30.5s, 30.6s here, even 30.7s up towards the front of the field. As here we go. Cameron Combs can't wait any longer. He's got to come down pit road. So for the Rockstar, number 15 machine of Cameron Combs, he heads down pit side. And for this number 15 machine, he's going to be one of the first few, as here comes Rob Tuwisku. And here's what we were talking about. Black flag, too fast, entering pit road. For Rob Tuwisku, big black flag right there for the 6th ride, and that is going to unfortunately probably take him really out of the running here this evening. And there we see Kurt Sponsler going just past his pit stall, has to back it up not once but twice. The crew finally able to go to work. That could cost him a lot of time. Same with Johnny Thunders, as we do see Lancaster. We see a lot of these drivers. Barton's down pit side, Johnny Thunders down pit road. Now here comes the next wave, including our race leader, Corey Crowell. Crowell down pit side, as well as Edward Belair, Tyler Humphrey, Grant Humphrey. Here comes Caleb McKinney, Josh Bromfield, Brandon Puffenbarger. The second wave so far. No black flags for any of these drivers, but for Rob Tuwisku, you see him still down pit road. Getting that 30-second hold here for speeding down pit side is a heartbreaker here for that 6 machine. That's going to put him at least a lap down, maybe even 2 laps down here this evening. Here comes our third wave of drivers being able to stretch this field out to lap number 94. Here this evening with Casey Gross, Al Reed. Here comes Anthony Garland, all coming down pit road and jumping out with the race lead down pit side. It is this 9 ride. Oh, baby, it's Tyler Humphrey. T-Hump potentially coming out with the race lead right here. Cameron Combs looks to be in second. What happened to Corey Crowell? A little bit of a slower pit stop here for Crowell. And unfortunately for Corey Crowell, he's back in what could be about that 4th position as Grant Humphrey right there with him. So for Corey Crowell, maybe a little bit of a slower pit stop here this evening. Oh man, this is potentially going to be a heartbreaker here. Or that 2 ride, maybe a slower pit stop. A bad pit stop could have just taken him out of the running here for the win this evening, as Tyler Humphrey now has the top spot. He's looking to hang on to it, but for the 15 ride, Cameron Combs rolling right there to his outside. Cameron looking really good here this evening. He's looking for the race lead. Edward Belair right there into the mix. Is a 3-car battle here at the front of the field, as we only got 30 laps left to go here in this race. You do see Corey Crowell able to jump out in front here. So Crowell, unfortunately, back in 5th. And sorry, it's Cameron Combs who's able to jump out in front. Edward Belair into 2nd. Humphrey does slide back into 3rd. Crowell, though, battling still back here for position number 4 between him and Grant Humphrey. They're duking it out for that 4th and 5th position. Brandon Puffenbarger up and into 6th. Caleb McKinney there in 7th. Devin Black, Josh Bromfield, Casey Gross, our top 10 here this evening, as we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers. As what's good, Mr. Muise? Muise says, hey, in the chat, what's good, Chris? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hit that like button on the stream, hit that share button, hit that follow button, and make sure you guys jump into the comment section. Let us know what you guys think this one's going to play out like. Will we stay clean and green? Will we see a late race caution flag? Will we see somebody jump up and steal this win away from potentially Cameron Combs and Edward Belair, Corey Crowell here this evening? As we jump in to our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Here we go, cranking it up this evening. Alrighty, a beautiful crank it up session here this evening as these drivers give us the sights and sounds around Chicagoland Speedway. As out in front, it is that 15 ride who continues to lead the way. It is Cameron Combs who's got the top spot. He continues to show these drivers that he may be the car to beat here this evening, but it is the number 5 machine who is starting to hunt him down here this evening. As the 5 ride of Brandon Puffenbarger on the throttle, reeling into our race leader here in a quick hurry, looking to try to take over this race lead. Now, biting a late race caution flag. I think there's going to be quite a few drivers that may have to make another trip down pit road to get some fuel. I think there may be a lot of drivers that may run shy here on gasoline here late in this race, and I think that was part of Tyler Humphrey's strategy maybe early on here. As soon as he got back in onto the racetrack, seemed like the number 9 ride was just kind of taking it easy, maybe trying to save fuel right out of the get-go. That may help him out. That may give him a good position here late in this race, but we're starting to see more and more drivers starting to save aggressively there. We saw the 76 ride of Caleb McKinney really started to save here, fell back already into that 13th position. So I think for Caleb McKinney, he's realizing that his chances of trying to put this M&M Auto Parts number 76 ride up and into victory lane here this evening really needs to get off the throttle and really start to save some fuel here, and it may be already too late for the 76 ride. Was on that throttle early on in this second half of the run, and obviously I think for a lot of these cats it's going to be very tight on fuel. I think for a lot of these drivers, I think they're going to be a lot tighter on fuel than I think they were planning on here. A lot of these drivers came down pit road on lap 92. Some were down pit road on lap 93. That brings them a little bit closer when you look back at our 10th place driver, Al Reed. He was down pit road on lap number 94. Casey Gross also down pit sign on lap 94. They're going to be the closest ones to be able to make it here on fuel late in this race potentially. So we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out, who's going to be in position, who will be able to take advantage here, and who may unfortunately be shy on fuel here this evening, as that's how this one may play out as a fuel strategy game. And if it does, then it's going to really mix up this running order. I think a lot of drivers are going to be, just hanging on and hoping for the best here. We do see Cameron Combs has backed it down quite a bit. He lost the race lead to Puffenbarger and now starting to slide backwards here to Tyler Humphrey. And for Tyler Humphrey, he's in position number 3 here. He's in line. He's been potentially saving since he got back out from his pit stop, and that may be the difference maker to be able to make it, that half a track or another lap here to be able to get to the end of this race, pick up potentially what could be a checkered flag. You do see Corey Crowell back here as well. He's still trying to rebound, trying to race his way up here. He's been on the throttle a little bit tougher here than a lot of these other drivers. So for the 2 ride, maybe he's going to be tight on fuel, maybe not. As here we go, we do see Billy Jordan. He's elected to come down pit road. So isn't Johnny Thunder. So they must know that they can't make it here on fuel and that they're going to have to probably come down pit road. So they are going to come down pit side here, and that's going to make things that much more interesting here for a lot of these drivers. As Brandon Puffenbarger potentially out front, maybe he's good on fuel, maybe he's not. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and find out. Here comes Lancaster, the Landon C NSB02 ride has to come down pit road here as well. So Lancaster makes his way down pit road and will make his final pit stop of the day. And this is where things can get really interesting. Not only for a late race caution flag, but for the fuel mileage as well. A late race yellow could really throw an entire loop into this entire race here this evening. And for right now, Brandon Puffenbarger doesn't seem like he's slowing down one little bit. Cameron Combs, though, he is slowed down. He is running into the 31-second lap time. Tyler Humphrey has been a little bit quicker than him, has been reeling into that 15 ride. Maybe it'll be a drag race between the two of them. Maybe Puffenbarger somehow or another has saved enough fuel, but I mean, he's been so hard on the throttle. I think it's going to be really tough to see him make it to the end of this race without having to make a pit stop. Last time around, though, he did run quite a bit slower, but I mean, the drivers even still behind him were 2/10, 7/10 slower than what he was. So I think for a lot of these drivers, as we inch closer and closer to the checkered flag, they can see that they are right on the edge here. They are right on the edge. They need some big runs. They need some good laps and a lot of fuel savings to maybe even get there. And for some, they still may be slow here. They still may not be there. And so, man, great turnover right there for the Philadelphia Eagles. Fumble from the running back on Dallas, and the Eagles come away with it. Zach Bond with the fumble recovery. Hell yeah, Eagles, let's fly. Eagles fly. That is absolutely amazing, as there's the fumble, and it is Zach Bond who jumps on it, takes that ball away, and Eagles ball once again. It's Puffenbarger with only 5 laps left to go. Oh, man, it's getting down to the nitty-gritty here in this one. Here comes Devin Black. He can't make it. Has to dive down pit road. For Brandon Puffenbarger, though, it is going to be a game-time decision. He's going to try to make it to the end. He can't get there. Here comes Puffenbarger. He's going to come down pit road, and he's going to slide sideways. Will there be a caution flag? No yellow as of yet. He's looking to just tow it right down pit side. So it looks like Puffenbarger's day has come to a late race close here. As now Cameron Combs has the race lead. Cameron Combs out in front. 1.3 seconds between himself and Tyler Humphrey. Humphrey does have the 0-2 going around him. Here comes the number 2, Corey Crowell, right into the battle, as well as Crowell now racing his way up here into the mix. And oh no, it looks like potentially they gave the ball back to Dallas here. What in the world am I seeing here? Did Dallas somehow get this ball back again? Or, no, they're just replaying it here. It looks like they're replaying. Okay, thank God it is still Eagles ball. As Cameron Combs, though, out in front. Only 3 laps left to go here in this one. 3 laps left for Cameron Combs. Now over Corey Crowell and Tyler Humphrey as they're going to continue to battle, but will they be good on fuel? Will the fuel run out? How will this one play out for these drivers as Cameron Combs down across the line will have 2 laps left to go. 2 laps left to go here. And so far, looks like about 12, 13 other drivers have not come down pit road. Here comes Rob Tuwisku. Tuwisku does come down pit side, can't make it on fuel, and gets a black flag again as well. His second black flag of the day for the 6th ride. That is definitely going to probably put him down pit side for almost the rest of this race. As Cameron Combs down through corner number 4, back down and across the start-finish line. He will see the white flag flying. So for Cameron Combs, can he make it one more lap? He's got 1.5 seconds between himself and Corey Crowell. Tyler Humphrey falling even farther back here, still trying to make it on fuel. He's got enough gap between himself and Casey Gross that he should be A-okay. But for the 15 ride, Cameron Combs is out of fuel. Combs is out of gas. Corey Crowell will take over the race lead. Corey Crowell down through 3 and out of corner number 4. He hit the number perfectly as Corey Crowell will pick up the checkered flag here this evening. Crowell picks up the dub. The 9 rider Humphrey out of fuel across the line will come home in 2nd, and it is the 77 of Casey Gross there in 3rd. Al Reed in 4th. Cameron Combs down across the line will come home in 5th with Edward Belair, Grant Humphrey, Caleb McKinney, Kurt Sponsler Jr., Josh Brumfield, our top 10 here this evening as he's out of fuel as well. Just gets down across the line. Anthony Garland will come home in 11th, but it's Corey Crowell able to hit his number, able to know that he was good on fuel, and he picks up the dub here this evening. Crowell sweeps this race. It looked like it was going away from him there for a little bit. Looked like he wasn't going to have an opportunity or a chance here in this race, and all of a sudden, Corey Crowell in the final lap makes his way around Tyler Humphrey. The 15 of Cameron Combs runs out of fuel, and Crowell will put himself up and into the M&M Auto Parts 300 victory lane here this evening, man. What a run, what a drive for that number 2 Machina Corey Crowell, man. We're going to get the rest of all of our top 3 up here into the booth for some post-race interviews here. We'll wait for them to jump up into the broadcast waiting room as we'll get a quick word in here from our sponsors over at M&M Auto Parts.
When it's time to fix it, find it, or upgrade it, trust the experts. At M&M Auto Parts, we've got over 150,000 parts in stock and ready for delivery. And for the hands-on builders and bargain hunters, stop by Rupert's You Pull It, where we give you the freedom to pull the parts yourself and save big. Visit any one of our 3 locations in Virginia or visit us online at mmauto.com to browse our grand inventory. With over 60 years of experience, when it comes to auto parts, we know how to pick them. Don't wait. Race on down to your nearest M&M Auto Parts location or find us on the web and give us a shout. M&M Auto, family owned, quality parts.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, give it up there for our sponsors here this evening. M&M Auto Parts Inc. here this evening is our race sponsor, and for our race winner, that 2-ride of Corey Crowell. We'll jump up here into the booth. Let's get him up here right now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Give it up here to our race winner. Hey, Corey, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Hey, Aaron, what's going on?
Not much, Corey, man. What a run. What a drive here this evening, brother. Obviously, qualifying on the pole. Looked like you were going to run away with this race as you were able to win that first stage with fairly good ease. In stage number 2, obviously, a couple different pitch strategies, and you had to kind of start back there in that second position. So you had to make a couple spots up there at the start of that second stage. Quickly find your way back out in front, though. You jump into the race lead, and you run away with stage number 2 as well. And then here in this final run, obviously fuel, tires, they were all going to come into play here. And obviously with the potential of a late race caution flag, could have changed the entire outcome of this race. Could have really flipped things around here, or really could have, potentially, hurt your chances here of winning this race. But man, it was timed perfectly, as on that final lap, you're able to get around the 9-ride of Tyler Humphrey. You get around the 15 of Cameron Combs as he runs out of fuel, and you get to park this car as the rightful driver here, I think, tonight into victory lane, man. The fastest car all night long, and you're able to park it here in the winner's circle in our first playoff race of the season, man. Take us back through and what's going through your mind.
Yeah, getting the pole, I was actually shocked that I got that. And then just leading all the way up to stage 1, winning that one. I talked to Puff, and I was like, I'm just going to maximize as much as I can on stage points. So, I took tires that first stage, ended up winning stage 2. So it kind of set me up for a bad deal if there was a late race caution. Luckily, there was not, because I wouldn't have had a set of tires to put on. So at that point, I was kind of going into this race just maximizing stage points, and then just hoping for a solid finish if there was a late race caution. And luckily, there wasn't. So, win stage 1, stage 2, maximize that. And then, I thought Tyler had enough fuel coming in. And then when I got by him, I seen he was still saving. So I knew he was, hurting there. I think I was still half lap to the good. Then I thought Cam had it. And then once he come off 2 and says I'm out of fuel, I was like, let's go, back to back. I win the last race of the regular season before playoffs, then win the first one. Let's just keep this going.
Yeah, absolutely. Winning this race, obviously punching your ticket into the next round of the playoffs as well, man. How does that feel, knowing that you're able to go to Bristol Motor Speedway next weekend and not really have to, worry or stress too much about points or about having a bad run there in that race?
Absolutely. That's what the whole stage, maximize as much stage as I can, because I wanted that buffer going into Bristol. That I don't know the outcome of that. Luckily now I don't have to worry about that. But my goal isn't to be, in the top 1 or 2 in points. I just need to be in the top 12 for here, and then the top 8 on the next one, and then from there on out, it's just a race to the top 8. So I'm looking forward to Bristol now. I can actually have some fun, and I won't have to stress about it. So it was an awesome race.
Absolutely awesome race, awesome drive here for you this afternoon as you're able to park that 2-ride up and into the M&M Auto Parts 300 victory lane here this evening at Chicagoland Speedway. Corey, who would you like to thank for such a great run and great drive here this evening?
Yeah, I have to thank M&M Auto Parts, coming on board again for, sponsoring another race. Hopefully they got a good show on this one. I have to thank you for the broadcast over at the league. Teammates over at Myers, everything that they helped me with. Shenko Custom Diecast and Designs, and just everybody that tunes in and it's part of this.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Corey, heck of a run, heck of a drive, man. Congratulations on the win here this evening, and we'll see you back out there next Sunday afternoon for a little bit of Bristol matinee here with the Outcast Racing League.
Thanks.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there to our race winner, Corey Crowell. As Crowell picks up the dub and parks this two right up and into victory lane here this evening, man. What a run, what a drive by Corey Crowell here today as that Shenko K West Group number 2 machine parks it up and in to victory lane. As we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher. It is the 9 rider Tyler Humphrey, just able to make it on fuel, comes home in position number 2. Let's get him up here into the booth. Hey, Tyler, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Tyler, man, heck of a run, heck of a drive for you here this evening. Obviously, a lot of strategy kind of going into this race with minimal caution flags here. We see you in that first stage break take the new no-tire gamble there, and for the most part, it works out as you don't go a lap down. You're able to hang and race with these guys for a while. Obviously, you don't end up at any stage points, but it did give you that extra set here for late in this race. Now, obviously, late race caution flag really would have went your way if you would have been able to put those tires on and probably cruise control around everybody else out there on the speedway. But unfortunately, you're no late race caution flag. You got to stretch that fuel out, and right there at a corner 4 looked like you ran out of fuel down across the line, and luckily enough, it was far enough forward that you're able to come home with a solid second place run here this evening nonetheless, man. Take us back through it and what's kind of going through your mind here after a bit of a crazy finish here at Chicagoland Speedway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I practiced this week, thought I had some speed. We got in the race, and I was just like, this track is tight. I can't rotate this car worth anything. So I was like, felt really good, though, in stage 1. I mean, felt like my pace was definitely top 3, but just didn't really have anything for Corey or Ed up there. So, I mean, I took that gamble at the end of stage 1, thinking maybe if I get a caution halfway through, I could kind of flip it on them and maybe I'd have 15 lap pressure tires. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like I carved through the field really good and I'm able to not really lose that momentum all that much. So I thought, well, if I can get that advantage, maybe that'll get me some track position, and just that didn't work out. So we did it the hard way. We came back through at the end of stage 2, starting stage 3, just drove our way back through again from 10th. I mean, I don't know. It was a good race. I really enjoyed that fuel saving though at the end. We're all chatting with each other right before coming into the booth, and everybody's talking about their fuel numbers looking good, but it's constantly changing, and everybody was like, I thought I was good, so I started pushing, and then I had to back off, and I'm like, I feel that because it was crazy. So yeah, I mean, it was a good race. Glad to see my brother be able to finish 7th. So I know he was struggling all day, so it was nice to see him come and get that good result. So
Yeah, still comes out, gets a good result, has a good finish there along with yourself as you come home in position number 2 here this evening in our first playoff race of the season. Tyler, who would you like to thank for another great run, another great performance, and a second place run here, giving yourself maybe a little bit of extra cushion between yourself and that cut line for next week's elimination race?
yeah, first I'd like to thank you for these broadcasts every week. It's amazing what you do, and I can't wait to go back and watch. Thanks to M&M Auto for sponsoring this race. I know we didn't have the exact turnout or exact form we wanted at Las Vegas. I think that this race was better. It put on a better show too, and I hope that they all enjoyed watching this. To the Garland family and all the league admins for helping putting this on every week. I mean, it's tough. It wears on you 30 weeks out of the year, and I know everybody's a little bit tired starting these playoffs, but I think a performance like today really helps bring everybody back up and shows them that we can do a little bit of everything. We can go fast, we can go slow, we can keep it straight. So yeah, Muscle Poodles, Landesco, the Bar Distillery, Isabel's Impact, my teammates for everything they do. Yeah, we couldn't do it without all these people. So thank you all.
Absolutely. Well, Tyler, heck of a run, heck of a drive here this evening, man. Congratulations on the second place run here this evening from Chicagoland Speedway, man. We can't wait to see you back in action next Sunday from Bristol Motor Speedway. Brother, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you back out there in the next one.
Thank you. I'm a little nervous for Bristol. We'll see. It's going to be a fast little half mile, so I'm ready to go see what it's like. You have a
Yes,
good
it
one.
is, brother. Yes, you as well. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, give it up there for our second place finisher, Tyler Humphrey. As Humphrey comes home here in position number 2, we'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, Casey Gross. Hey, Casey, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth to get a copy.
Got me?
Yes, I do. Casey, brother, how are ya?
Hey, dude. I'm great. Had a wonderful race today.
Wonderful race, a great performance here. We saw you up inside the top 5, top 10 pretty much all evening long. And then there at the end, obviously a lot of, fuel strategy coming into play here. Everyone's trying to play their hand, trying to put themselves into the best position to make it to the end. And luckily enough for yourself, you're able to save enough through that first half of the final run and enough there towards the end that you're able to, keep your foot in the throttle, keep on rolling, and you come home with a very solid third place performance here this evening, man. Take us back through and what's going through your mind.
Man, yeah, no, as Quantum, we all just decided because we got 3 of us in, 2 guys on the low end of the playoffs, so we're trying to get some bonus points there. Really, it was just be consistent, don't wreck our cars, finish the race. This is the highest I finished all season, so I feel like I'm peaking at a good time. The car, it felt great. That bump in 3 and 4 was a doozy, man. I mean, getting used to that thing was treacherous. But I got some bonus points today. I can't complain. The race was great. Bunch of green flag racing. Gotta love it. Bunch of tight, racing each other off corners and stuff. It was a good time all the way around, man. I'm elated with the outcome of today's race for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a heck of a showing, an amazing drive here with a lot of green flag laps, a lot of tight battles, like you were saying. And here at the end, obviously that fuel strategy coming into play, making some excitement with drivers having to come back down pit road, other drivers having to, run out of fuel there in the closing laps. And for yourself, that kind of worked into your benefit because you're able to get around Cameron Combs and a couple of these other drivers and put yourself up here onto the podium, man. It's got to feel good, as you said, your highest finish of the season. It's at the right time as we're here now into our, our first round of the playoffs, and here you are peaking at the right time.
That's right. Yeah, no, dude, you just tell everybody was trying to throttle it, trying to save every drip drop fuel they could get. I ran out of 2 right after the finish line, so I mean, it was just when Cam, came over the radio, said that he was out of fuel. Just let the field know, man. I was just begging to get him because I was at the start finish line, so I knew he was somewhere around there on the track. Then I had Al breathing down my neck, and I'm wondering if he's got enough fuel, if he's pushing hard to the end. Last 3 laps were pretty interesting for me, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely very, very interesting finish to this race, man, but it was a heck of a show for yourself and the rest of this field. Casey, who would you like to thank for such a great run and great performance here this evening with your third place run?
And you obviously for putting on an amazing broadcast as always. Got to get that in there. Quantum, the team, man, we're all positive, man, and I love it. I love our team dynamic. We're not all bunch of front running guys all every week, but we all try to just in some way, shape, or form make each other faster. So I got to thank my boys over at Quantum. Anthony for running the league, Al, Braun, myself, we're trying to just make this thing the best we can, and I feel like it's coming around, and it's really starting to turn into something good. And I'm hoping we keep going in the right direction. I hope we can try to, change some of the dynamic of the league here soon. But man, I just got to thank everybody that's involved in making this thing happen every Sunday. I enjoy it, and I hope everybody else does as well.
Absolutely, brother. Well, we definitely enjoy it up here in the booth, and hopefully for all the fans in the stands, they enjoy you guys continuing to battle it out here for at least, 4 more weeks as we get closer and closer to the end of the season here. But, man, Casey, heck of a run, heck of a drive, man. We look forward to seeing you back in action next Sunday from Bristol Motor Speedway and hopefully get you right back up here into the broadcast booth.
As always, that's the goal, brother. Thank you.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
You too, man.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there to our third place finisher, Casey Gross. As Casey comes home in position number 3 here this evening. Solid run, solid drive there for that number 77 machine. As huge turnover again for the Eagles. Reed Blankenship comes up with the pick. Oh, baby, let's fly. Eagles fly. Heck of a pick there by Reed Blankenship, man. Oh, what beautiful thing is that. That is a beautiful sight to see, man. We love to see the Eagles absolutely destroy the Dallas Cowgirls. So heck of a play right there, Blankenship, man. We can't wait for the exciting Mike's YouTube episode and being able to hear what Reed's got to say about that one and see what Cooper DeJean's got to say about it as well, because the Eagles are rolling, ladies and gentlemen. And these guys were rolling all night long, putting on an absolutely amazing show for us, man. And we can't thank all of you guys for tuning in and enjoying the amazing racing action here with the Premium Stock Car Racing League and the M&M Auto Parts Inc. 300 here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you all back here in the next one. Here in this one, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, enjoy the rest of your night and enjoy, the rest of your evening. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today, and don't miss any of the amazing racing action coming up here tomorrow night, Tuesday night, and almost every other night here in every single year, man. We've been doing this for a while, and hopefully we continue to keep on growing and keep bringing in more and more fans in the stands to enjoy this amazing racing action. But thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll catch you all back here in the next one. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
When it's time to fix it, find it, or upgrade it, trust the experts. At M&M Auto Parts, we've got over 150,000 parts in stock and ready for delivery. And for the hands-on builders and bargain hunters, stop by Rupert's U-Pull-It, where we give you the freedom to pull the parts yourself and save big. Visit any one of our 3 locations in Virginia, or visit us online at mmauto.com to browse our grand inventory. With over 60 years of experience, when it comes to auto parts, we know how to pick them. Don't wait. Race on down to your nearest M&M Auto Parts location, or find us on the web and give us a shout. M&M Auto, family-owned, quality parts. When it's time to fix it, find it, or upgrade it, trust the experts. At M&M Auto Parts, we've got over 150,000 parts in stock and ready for delivery. And for the hands-on builders and bargain hunters, stop by Rupert's U-Pull-It, where we give you the freedom to pull the parts yourself and save big. Visit any one of our 3 locations in Virginia, or visit us online at mmauto.com to browse our grand inventory. With over 60 years of experience, when it comes to auto parts, we know how to pick them. Don't wait. Race on down to your nearest M&M Auto Parts location, or find us on the web and give us a shout. M&M Auto, family-owned, quality parts.
Radio check 1 2. Radio check. Over still. Run the bomb through the corner. Lane up through the trial zone. Not sure why we did that. I don't know the plan. 88 was screaming everything to get to the bottom. Maybe we should just run all out and wait till after the fourth pit.
comes that number 15 of Cameron Combs. Combs trying to work his way. It's Kurt Sponsler. Sponsler will pick up stage win. Mr. Garland is Garland leading the way, showing these drivers how to get it done.